you're like me, you've watched a movie or two in your time. And if you're like me, the worse the movie is, the better. That's why I love Hallmark movies. Apparently they release around 4 dozen films a year. One film takes 3 weeks to write, 2 weeks to shoot, and 2 weeks to edit. That is insane. That's less than half of Phineas and Ferb's summer. I don't know why I'm using that metric. These movies, they're so low effort, they're just perfect. So when I saw a Hallmark movie with Jeremy Jordan in it, I had to watch it. If you don't know Jeremy Jordan, he's basically just a theatre guy. You don't need to know anything about him, but I'm in love with him. Let's just jump right into it. The movie starts off by introducing us to our main character, Josh, who is
a cook in a diner in Yakutat, Alaska.
Nice context there, thank you. Next, we're introduced to Meg, who, according to many reviews, needs to cut her hair way too long and way too dark. That long hair is so unappealing for her age and her face shape. Rapunzel hair doesn't actually look good in real life, just lazy and unprofessional. Luckily for this reviewer, it's not real life. It's a movie. Her hair aside, she's Meg, an event organizer who wants to build her own empire, and she will tell you that.
Because I want to build my own empire.
I want to build my own empire.
I decided to start building my own empire.
Really?
So she's organised a cooking competition that Josh's twin brother is going to be competing in. That's right. We've got a Lindsay Lohan situation going on here. Yes. They have the most exposition heavy conversation. Basically, they're orphans. When their parents died, Josh stayed in his small town and Julian moved to the big city, and Julian is gay. Anyway, Julian invites Josh to Malta for the cooking competition, so that's where they go. There's this one scene. I love that they just clearly couldn't figure out how to end it, so they just had this woman smile.
And it's going to be live streamed for the entire world to see.
Yeah, we're gonna be live streaming our event. We're gonna live stream it? Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be televised? Like, we're gonna put it on telly? I don't know how to end this. Meg bumps into Josh at the hotel and he's really nice. Meg thinks he's Julian and is really confused because the one time she met him before, he interrupted her. But this week, he's nice, and he looks casual. This is something that would definitely confuse a real-life human being. Right, I know that this is a different person. This is Josh, she thinks it's Julian, but let's for a minute pretend that it's not. Why is she so confused? When she met him last week, he was at work trying to schmooze her dad, so obviously he's gonna dress and act differently. But this is actually a different person, so she's right to be suspicious, to be fair. I will say though that at no point during the entire movie does she ever suspect that they're two different people, despite knowing that Julian's brother is staying in the hotel. Julian hurts his back and rests his head comfortably on a suitcase, so Josh has to pretend to be Julian and sign his contract for the competition. I'm sure nothing will go wrong. So Josh signs the contract and Meg says,
Oh, Jane Northrup, staying on brand.
Why would she react like that? Like, what else did she expect it to say? That's his name, and it's the name of his restaurant as well. I mean, it is important later that he has only written J, but like, you didn't have to make us, it's just weird, okay? Then Meg gives Josh an indestructible bracelet that he has to keep on until the end of the competition or he can't compete. But this is Josh, not Julian, and she doesn't know. But I'm sure this will all get cleared up in no time. It's not like it's gonna cause a mix-up in the Mediterranean. Oh no! Julian's restaurant is gonna get shut down if he doesn't get the prize money from winning the competition. So, Josh agrees to do the competition in his place. This whole thing is happening because Julian couldn't go downstairs in the hotel that he was staying at because of his bad back. He could have just called Meg up and been like, hey, my back's sore, can you bring the contract up to me? But then we'd never have gotten this amazing movie. Josh as Julian meets the most poorly French accented man you've ever heard.
I have the weakness for the cream sauce. Cream sauce, yes.
He also meets an old friend of Julian's who immediately figures out that there's two of them, and he loves it.
I love it.
He really loves it. However, he need not be in this movie because he's basically completely irrelevant. Meg then asks Josh to check the equipment to see if it's right, but like, girl, the competition is tomorrow. Shouldn't someone have already checked this? Then they have this conversation where she asks if his brother, really him, is truly happy.
As long as he's happy, that's the most important thing. He is happy, isn't he?
I think that's a bit deep. TBH. They've had about 2 conversations before this. I mean, at least I think that's what they're talking about. The music is so loud. I think sometimes maybe the editors turn the music up that loud to distract you from the awful script. Jason, we need to talk. What's wrong, babe? I found out something about you. Meg also tells him that she thought he was a jerk when they first met.
Thought you were a bit of an arrogant jerk.
Let me just say, they have not known each other long enough for her to be saying that. They've had about 3 conversations and all of them have been like the exact same. In fact, I feel like I've seen this entire movie before. Not like that. I'm just impressed that these Hallmark movies managed to find so many different ways to say the exact same thing.
Can I please get some chocolate? Or not?
Right. I wasn't going to talk about Meg liking chocolate being one of her only personality traits, but it's come up so much that I feel like I need to mention it. First of all, she says she's got a secret stash. Don't tell anyone. It's so embarrassing.
It's actually where I keep my extra chocolate.
Okay.
Don't tell anyone.
Then she brings it up to Henry.
I'm sure he's told you all about my obsession with chocolate.
No, he hasn't.
Then she thanks Josh for not bringing it up to Henry.
Well, for starters, you didn't tell Henry about my secret stash of chocolate.
Oh, Henry is Julian's husband. By the way, I completely forgot to mention that.
What happened to the emergency stash?
It's been a long week.
But like, yeah, she's quirky. She's not like other girls. She likes chocolate.
Sweet chocolate.
They always seem to make tiny things into massive deals in these movies. Like, Meg says that she wore pigtails as a kid, and Josh says...
Pigtails. I'm gonna need to see pictures.
Why? Why do you need to see pictures of kids? Meg also tells Josh that the reason she broke up with her last boyfriend was because he was lying to her. And Josh is guilty as hell. I just don't think it's that deep. Like, why can't they tell her? That it's not like they're too far in right now. Oh, but they're about to be. Round 1 of the cooking competition. There's a quick cooking montage which I fully skipped, and when they're finished, the judges come around and look at the food.
Wait, that's it? Oh, yeah, that's it.
They literally don't even eat it. We'll find out the results later. I wonder if Josh will pass round 1. He will, he'll pass, yeah. Josh gets back from round 1 and Julian criticizes him for chopping the veg instead of dicing it. I'm so glad someone said it. Then they have this mini argument that just doesn't matter at all. And Josh goes through to the next round of the competition. Woo! Despite his crooked tie.
Is everything okay?
What, do I not look okay?
It's just your tie's a bit crooked here. Oh, hey.
Well, one of us is gonna have to change.
You look snazzy.
Nothing happens between Meg and Josh, and Henry's all like, you need to stop this, you're getting too close. So Josh is like, okay. Then he immediately goes with her. He asks what her favourite food is, and she's all, oh my god, you're gonna laugh at me. Actually, she says,
You're going to sneer at me.
who wrote this? And then she says, cheeseburger. And he's like, that's interesting. Why cheeseburger? In what world is that interesting? People need to stop telling this girl that she's interesting.
She's nothing like that. She's nothing of the sort.
There's a random scene with Julian as Josh and the French guy, but it doesn't matter at all. Then we cut back to Meg and Josh as they walk down the same street they just walked down and stop in the same place they stopped at 20 seconds ago. Henry again tells Josh that he needs to control his feelings for Meg.
We're not gonna do this again.
They seem to think it's a massive deal. I don't think it is. But Josh agrees. Then he immediately runs into Meg and has a romantic cookery ghost moment with her. The mixed feelings this girl must be feeling right now. As far as she's aware, he's gay and has a husband. Then Josh mentions in passing that she should do events with Jay Northrup, the restaurant, and she's all like, oh my god, yeah, like that is the best idea I've ever had in my entire life. She's so eager. She is so eager. And then he's all like, oh, that is not my restaurant. Like, I don't have the author. You're gonna have to speak to Henry about that. Oh. Then the next day she goes to Julian's hotel room to go and say sorry for being so eager. But who answers the door? The actual Julian, and he just completely shuts her down.
I think that if I suggested that we work together at my restaurant, it was probably a little premature at best.
And she's like really annoyed.
Right. Are we cool? Great.
Then like 5 seconds later, she's basically immediately over it and offers Josh food from the hotel kitchen when his freezer breaks. It was that French guy who broke it. That's not me being xenophobic, like it was him. For round 2, Josh makes a cheeseburger in honor of his conversation with Meg. And the judges actually eat it this time, but immediately cuts away. And of course, he advances to the final round. Then Julian emerges from the bushes and asks Josh if he can do the final round instead. And Josh is like, no, like, I have the wristband. And Julian's like, oh yeah, well, stay away from Meg. Of course, that's not going to happen. And they talk pretty loudly, which wouldn't be an issue unless there was, I don't know, off the top of my head, a conveniently placed Frenchman in the bushes who heard every word. Oh no! Side note, how did he not see him? Then the French guy snitches on them to Meg and she's like, well, actually, I think you were the one who turned the freezer off, so get fucked. Then Josh sees Meg again and... Oh my my god. Right, one of us needs to change. Meg says,
It's really nice to trust someone.
and Josh is finally ready to come clean and tell her that he isn't Julian, but she gets a call from the organizer of the competition. She goes to meet her and Julian is there as well, and she's heartbroken,
You're not Julian?
I think. Josh and Julian are kicked out of the competition and they have a heart-to-heart. But anyway, he goes to apologise to Meg and she says that because of a loophole in the contract, because he wrote J. Northrup,
Staying on brand.
it means he can still compete in the competition? Woo!
This is ridiculous. Some of us have studied for years.
Some of us have studied for years. So the Jeremys team up and they win the competition. Who saw that coming? But Meg is conflicted. I wonder if she'll ever forgive him. Is the hair too much? Will she ever get past this? Can they ever mend their differences?
Josh, Meg.
There we go. I think the real mix-up here is that the small town guy actually regrets staying in his small town and moves to the big city. Our Hallmark movies starting to finally become more nuanced. Like genuinely good pieces of art. No, they're not. They're not. There was also this whole thing with Meg's dad being unsupportive, but he's basically irrelevant and acts like a robot.
You're a Westcott. You can do important things.
You are a Westcott. You can do important. But yeah, that was the movie. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you learned a valuable lesson that you should never impersonate someone or you might end up with a really successful business and the love of your life. The lying, the cheating, and he wins? Ugh! Tell me about it. Not everyone hates this movie though. The gays get gayer and Meg gets more annoying. 5 stars. Cute little movie that will make you smile. Maybe twice. So if you'd like to smile up to 2 times, you can find this movie on YouTube. I'll link it in my description. I want to also say a huge thank you to everyone who's watching this. Since my last commentary video, we hit 100 subscribers and 10,000 total channel views. I'm actually so excited about it. If you want to support my channel, give this video a like if you liked it and subscribe if you're not already. Woo! Since I hit 100, my next goal is probably like 1 million. Yeah, I think we can do that. I will also be replying to all comments, so feel free to leave a comment. What's your favourite Hallmark movie? What should I cover next? Where was I on the date of October 19th, 1997? Please don't ask that. Please don't ask. Anyway, that's all from me today. Bye!
Overall, it's a really funny script.
This comedy is amazing.
Oh, it's a comedy? I'm gonna have to stop being funny.